What's up everybody, VB here, bringing you some Gotham City Impostors gameplay, and I'm reaching for my goggles, because today is the day the Xbox gets the Steamy DLC pack. Sorry, perhaps I should clarify, the Steamy Punk DLC pack, as opposed to just like, So the new DLC pack is worth 400 Microsoft points, and in it you've got the new weapon, the Witch Doctor, and also you've got a brand new support item, the Jetpack. Wait a minute, Jetpacks? Rocket men, burning out this fuse out here alone. Yeah, come see me sometime. I know what it takes to be cool. So these are going to be my first impressions on these two items, and again, much like the Rodeo Pirate Pack stuff I did, it's just what I feel at the end of the day. It might be right, good majority of it probably will be wrong, but again, it's a good basis for everyone to look at the weapons and decide if they want to use them. Now, the Witch Doctor is a miscellaneous weapon, so it's in with the Kingmaker and the Falcon Blade. And it fires a ball of electricity that zaps and stuns enemies as they pass it. That's a big thing to emphasise. And also it does extra damage to armoured targets. Now you get two mods with it as well. You get the static pulse, which is basically like a sticky grenade. You pop it in one place, and as they pass by they take damage. And also you've got a deflective charge, which, as you can probably guess, it doesn't stay in one place. If you fire it into a small room, it'll bounce off all the walls and do damage to those people that pass by it. Now the main thing I want to stress about this weapon goes back to the weapon description, and that is the fact that it zaps and stuns enemies that pass by it. Do not take it into a gunfight, people, because you are not going to win. From what I experienced this morning playing with the Witch Doctor, if you fire it at someone directly, it does one-off amount of damage and that's it. Sure, it zaps and stuns them, but that's about it. However, if you fire it into a group of enemies or in a small room where there's a health kit, so for instance on the docks or in Gotham Power, if you do that, it does splash damage, so it damages everyone around it, which allows you to go in for kills, or, you know, get the kill assist so other people can run in, take them out, things like that. Moreover, if you're in that situation where you've got a room full of mighties with body armor, or just any body type body armor for instance, because metal conducts electricity, Science 101, you know, it's going to do extra damage to them, like the description says, so it's really good in that kind of situation too. So again, do not take it into a head-on conflict, but keep it as a backup, as a support, for those situations when you need it. Now the way I used it, and I think it's probably the main use for it, is as a support item to clear out rooms. So I'd have it as a secondary. As a backup, I'd have a primary, which is reliable, so sort of like the Dawn Patrol assault rifle, the Shredder, I suppose, if you want to get a little more heavy. And you know, you'd have it there. If you come across a room where everyone's camping in with a health kit, or if you come across 3 people hiding in a corner, or even just the odd one-on-one situation when you know for a fact they're weakened, firing at them then. So its major use is for clearing out rooms and groups of enemies, because obviously more enemies together, the more splash damage. Now, I also found it's really good for booby-trapping certain items as well. So if you see people running towards a health kit, if you see people near, you know, presents, or even on gas blasters, things like that, fire a bolt in there, it stuns them, you can sweep in, get the kill, you know, and then do whatever you need to do afterwards, run off with the battery, so on and so forth. Now, the other use I had for it, in the odd circumstance where it happened, and of course by odd I mean all the time, was if I was being attacked by dive bombers, because what I would do is lay down a ball of electricity at my feet, jump out the way, they land in the electricity, take the damage, and I could pick them off at the side with my primary. Or alternately I could make bad electricity jokes, you know, something along the lines of, "Oh, it appears you have died. What a shocking turn of events." So the main positive I'd have to say with this gun is that it's ideal for clearing out rooms. So places people think they're safe, you know, no one can get to them. Like that little room on the docks with the health kit in. You know, everyone climbs in there. If you fire some electricity in, you can at least get some damage going while people run in and try and take them out. Also, the other positive I feel is the fact that it does progressive damage. So once you fired off one ball of electricity, as long as you've got multiple people there all taking the damage, you can switch to your primary, start picking them off without too much worry of them recovering and trying to take you out. Now, it's not all positives, unfortunately. There are some major downsides. The first one being it's a very slow gun. It's very slow to reload and slower to fire as well, because the ball of electricity sort of just goes whoop, 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 whoop. Sort of like the mothership from Space Invaders, but not as fast. So if people can see it coming, they'll move out the way, and it does leave you very vulnerable afterwards unless you've switched out your weapons. So moving on to the Jetpack next. Basically, you equip it to your class, you press LB to start hovering up towards the sky, or you can tap LB so you sort of do little burst hovers so you bob up and down in midair. Now, the main way I used the jetpack was as a jetpack. You know, you press LB, fly off towards the sky, that's it. A jetpack's a jetpack at the end of the day, there's not much else you can do with it. I was talking to someone online though, and he said he created like a bombardier class around the jetpack, because you can still deploy your gadgets, fire your weapons while hovering. So he put like explosives on, bear traps, things like that, so he could throw them down from the sky, give him the advantage when he eventually lands again, which is a really good idea. So that's kind of one of the positives I want to talk about. Having that height gives you an advantage to get out of a situation, but then prepare yourself for going into a situation. So if you throw down traps, gadgets, things like that before you land, it gives you advantage when that meter finally runs out. Also with the advantage of firing while hovering as well, you can get headshots a bit easier, do that little bit of extra damage before you do land, or manage to take someone out for that matter. And also, it's not as obvious as using the trampolines and zip lines to go onto higher platforms. So for instance, on Ace Chemical, there's that little platform just outside the actual chemical plant itself, where everyone usually goes up and snipes. If you listen carefully, you can hear people trampolining up to you, ziplining across to you, whereas if you use the jetpack, it's not that obvious. Now, the major downside to the jetpack is much like the Witch Doctor. It's very slow to get started, so if you start jetpacking out of a gunfight, you're probably still going to get shot and taken down because you're a sitting duck because they've already started. The other downside as well, which I found out this morning, is if you're not watching that meter, you could find yourself becoming friends with the ground rather quickly. Yeah, it's not a good scenario to be in, unfortunately. So that's about it for my first impressions, really. The pack as a whole, it's not going to be for everyone. I know it's not going to be for everyone. I enjoy it just because I have that option now to clear out rooms, do some damage, and again, it's new shiny things, and I'm a magpie, you know. Ooh, I want that. Other things to include about the DLC pack as well. There's a new costume set as well for the Jokers and the Batman, obviously, and a new joke voice, which is basically like Cockney English. You know, it's like, you right, goof, you right, wee. If they only spoke like that. There's a new mascot as well, Stitches, which is basically Scarecrow, which is pretty cool. And there's a new dino paint job. And also there's the new fun fact, which is well grounded, which allows you to get pushed around by enemy fire less, but allows you to push them around more. And also, perhaps more importantly, is it counters the amount of damage you take from the Witch Doctor if you get shot upon by it. As always, people, rate, comment, subscribe, you know the drill by now. I hope you enjoyed the video, keep up the GGs, and I shall see you in the next video. Take care of yourselves.